Real quick, I want to do a fair use. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. I want to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners, who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father, and have come back to the fold, Shalom. To your sisters, your Achawathim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yehowadah with the lesson.
And we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this. And it won't even be tough. And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one. But they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago. Please. I did great with the black vote, as you know, and they want something to happen. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York, and we're going to help with...
And cashless bail here in the District of Columbia. He's also so pleased with the way that things have been going here in D.C. for the last 2 weeks or so that he is sizing up other cities for possible National Guard deployment.
We want to go from here to other places.
Next on the list could be Chicago, whose mayor is unimpressed by the Capitol crime crackdown.
The president has spent hundreds of millions of dollars to arrest 9 people in D.C.
The president was quick to correct Mayor Johnson.
9 people? We didn't arrest 9 people. We actually arrested a total of well over 1,000 people.
But President Trump plans to wait to send in the troops until Illinois Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker asks him to.
I think until I get that request from that guy, I'm not going to do anything about it. I hate to barge in on a city and then be treated horribly by corrupt politicians and bad politicians like a guy like Pritzker. He ought to spend more time in the gym, actually.
Pritzker responded this afternoon.
Mr. President, do not come to Chicago. You are neither wanted here nor needed here.
President Trump also has Maryland Democratic Governor Wes Moore, who some see as a possible 2028 contender, saying, LOL, and keep telling yourself that, Mr. President, after the latest claim in a days-long back and forth about crime in Baltimore.
I met him at the Army-Navy game. They said, oh, there's Governor Moore. He'd love to see you. He came over to me, hugged me, shook my hand. You were there. He said, sir, you're the greatest president in my lifetime.
Despite encouraging crime data over the last 2 weeks, the U.S. Attorney for D.C. is concerned about keeping the district safe.
We have got to lower the age of criminal responsibility in Washington, D.C. The gangs and the crews are 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. I can't touch them.
For now, the president is claiming victory over those criminals.
Washington was the most dangerous place in this country, and now, you know what? It's probably the safest place in our country.
President Trump is also teasing a major change as soon as a week from now to the name of the Department of Defense. He says he wants defense, but he also wants offense. And the president does not seem worried at all about getting the necessary congressional approval to change the name back to the Department of War. Brett.
Okay.
God
Peter,
damn.
tell us about the executive order regarding people who burn the American flag.
He signed an order that would sentence people who are convicted of burning an American flag to 1 year in jail without the possibility of bail. And he needs a way around Supreme Court rulings, 2 of them, that say that burning an American flag is constitutionally protected free speech. So the EO today is very carefully worded to say that the penalty will be applied to people who burn an American flag and that burning it incites violence.
Yeah, so this is Jeremiah chapter 11, verse 9. And Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash, said unto me, a conspiracy is found among the men of Judah and among the inhabitants of Jerusalem, right? So we have, a lot of time we have our own people who's in league with our enemies, and not to mention our own neglect to worship other gods and not keep the oaths and the covenants that we made with the Most High, suffer punishment. But then we have within that, you have a lot of our own people, because even Trump tried to say that he spoke to these black ladies in Chicago, right? And they welcome him to be there. But, black women are the reason why the hood and the neighborhood is in the condition. I mean, who the hell are they? You're the reason why it's in a downtrodden position in the first place. Why there was no men in the household. Why the divorce rate is higher now than ever. It's because of you women, and especially the so-called black woman, right? You bring forth monsters, man. Emotional, murderous, demon time niggas who shoot and kill people based on their emotions, right? You created the conditions in Chicago, but yet this guy, but 08, he always got to go to Satan, same MO, going to Eve, right? This is Zechariah 11:4. Thus saith Yahweh, my power, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, feed the flock of the slaughter. Wow, right, because ultimately we have to feed you with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, because you're the ones who's constantly getting slaughtered and being led to the slaughter, especially by Eve, right? That's why the so-called, they always, the serpent is always the same. Even in the CV-19, they went and got a so-called black woman, so-called, to say that she was this doctor or scientist or whatever that helped create it, to try to get you to be hey, the Tuskegee experiment. They went and got a so-called black woman to put them at ease in order to take that yob, that the icky vicky, right? Whose possessors, right? And at the end of the day, this is what it is, man. Through the birth certificate, through every legal thing that there is, they own you, right? You're just slaves here. You're a possession, right? Whose possessors slay them, right? And through these different policies and things that he's signing, he is about to do some ethnic cleansing to you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, right? And he's gonna slay you. Slay meaning to kill them that hold themselves not guilty, right? And this is the thing that's been going on, right? Hangings and lynchings of I think it was two Issacharites that got hung, and then I think there was 2 Jakes that got hung, found in a tree hung, right? Which are telltale signs of who these people are, because it says, "Cursed is he that hangeth from a tree," right? Showing you that you're the Israelites. Even in these modern days, these are the curses that point towards you being the Israelites, right? And it says, and they that sell them say, "Blessed be the Lord," right? "For I am rich." So they be like, thank God I'm rich. Because you know why? Because I'm a you know, they be talking about how they're this Anglo-Saxon and they're this and that, and cause I'm a white man, and but you're not an Anglo-Saxon. You're not an angelic son of Isaac. You're not white. You're red, right? All these lies they spill out, right? But they say they're rich, right? "For I am rich. For their own shepherds pity them not." See, and that goes with the so-called black woman and our so-called black men who are supposed to be our leaders. Your preachers, your community activists, and all these different things. They're all interconnected, and they basically are linked to this conspiracy, right? Yeah. First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 11. "And in those days went there out of Israel," right? So-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, right? You're the Israelites. But at this time there was only Judah, Benjamin, and Levi at that time. But this still represent what's going on to this very day. Because you may have a so-called black woman or so-called Latino woman, and they think they're doing the right thing, or even a so-called Latino man or so-called black man thinking they're doing the right thing, or they know, they know they're going to get a so-called some type of perks or something, because that's what she's looking at it like. Ain't nothing gonna happen to her, right? Because when they come to Chicago, and who knows, the Lord may have it where, hey, somebody snatch her up, while she thinking she's invincible, and nobody don't know you like that, but there's wicked men and wicked women of Israel, right, who persuaded many, saying, "Let us go and make a covenant with the heathens," right? Let's just get down with whatever Trump is talking about. Yeah, I'm with that. I'm 100% behind Trump, and I want him to come to Chicago. Yeah, right? When he's completely saying that he don't want to call the Department of Defense anymore. Let's just go back to calling the Department of War. And that's what they're setting up, war against your people. But you don't, people who's on a certain type of financial bracket, they don't see that it's their problem, like, what's his name? The Anthony Daniels. He don't see because he's think he's making a certain amount of money, but they plan on making everybody. The elite said that you will have nothing and be happy. That includes you, right? That includes him. That includes this woman because she's supposed to be an influence. So she's got a certain amount of money, so she feel like she's and that's how Jake get, It says many persuade many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Right? And yeah, no, we need to be departed from them. Right? And that's the way these what's it called? Stockholm syndrome jakes are about. And says, so this device pleased them. See, and it's just a device. It's a way to lead other Israelites in. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, the crime is not. Yeah, it is bad, and it's been bad. But what time are you living in? If this would have happened maybe some years back ago, but even then, you know, the Edomite, which is the spiritual or the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, he always have an agenda behind it, man. An underhand scheme behind it. So at any point in time, you're saying you're okay with these people coming to come and destroy your own people? Yeah. So this is First Maccabees 1:43, just skipping all the way down. It says, yeah, many also of the Israelites, right, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, right, we have are people who's in these high positions. They got a certain amount of money. They think somehow their money is gonna make them untouchable or something, right? You know, you're exempt because you're in a certain tax bracket or whatever, and you may be able to survive a little bit longer. But their plan is, I mean, if you're supposed to be smart, right? Since you're so brilliant, and like Anton Daniels, he's so smart, right? This influence lady, fitness influence lady. So then you know about the Georgia Guidestones in 4 different languages, saying how they want to destroy pretty much majority of the planet. There's about 8 billion people on the planet, and if you only want 500 million or so, something like that, they were saying, I mean, you literally have to kill 700 and 500 million people or something like that. I may not be saying the numbers right, but you know what I mean. Like you pretty much have to wipe out pretty much the whole earth and only leave like a tenth of the earth population left out of 8 billion people and counting, because babies are being born every day. Right? So you're talking about wiping everybody, children, babies, older people, whoever it is that ain't getting down with the program. But even then, they still gotta, what they call it, thin out the herd, because there's only so much resources, and this is what the elite saying, there's only so many resources. So, not including, they're saying there's only be so many resources. They want to put the micro chip in people's hand or in their forehead to even furthermore limit what you could do, what you could say, where you can go, everything. Not to mention, the majority of people are not going to be living. So what are the guarantees that you're going to be one of those people? We have no guarantee. Our only guarantee is in the Most High. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, right? And that's what this is going on. This whole thing with the micro chip and what they're bringing in is really a religion. It's a religion of white supremacy, worshiping the spiritual demon Satan, right? In the collective form, bringing the entire world under the Novus Ordo Seclorum, the new, that thing, right? Right? Allegedly, right? And yeah, sacrifice. What you're gonna do? You're gonna sacrifice your whole life, everything, your soul, your who you are as a person. Which a lot of them are doing that anyway. You mean unto idols, unto the charagma, unto Satan. That's ultimately what you talking about doing, to profane them, to profane the Sabbath, man, and not keep the understanding, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding with Yahweh Bashem was shy, holy, man, right? You rather profane it, get a couple more dollars, be because that's what the Anton Daniels dude is doing too, because he's an internet influencer too, pretty much, right? You know. Yeah, so this is independent news, and basically says black influencer says she's behind Trump. See, and if she's calling herself black, right? There's no nationality called black, right? Right. Strike one. Influencer, strike two, right? Strike three, she's behind Trump, right? So you know automatically, and then you allow them to call you and claim that behind Trump's claim that beautiful African American ladies, right? So you allow them to call you black, and boy, you're getting insulted, right? Because black means you're dumb, you're stupid, you're untrustworthy, you're evil, you're angry, you're maleficent. Damn. It's like it. Manipulative, right? Right? You're all the nasty things of the world. Hey, and you're ignorant. You must don't know who you must be ignorant. And Africa, named after Leo Sciphios Africanus, America at the America Vespucci, you can't be these two things, right? And you allow them to call you this, and then ladies are begging for troops in Chicago. So strike one, strike two, strike three, and you know. And then the thing that came to my mind is when he said they are wearing red hats, just like this one, right? African American beautiful ladies say, "Please, Trump, come to Chicago," right? So this is thing, and then there's this demon. This demon is saying it's her. She's behind it all. And see how she's the one that's behind it all. See how her name is there? She already goes before Congress. Right? Right? So that's supposed to be her. Right? Which, if you're an influencer, you're not speaking for the average person. Right? Because I think it said somewhere on here she's... She believes Trump was talking about her and her political actions group. Fucking word. What was that? I read something though. But basically, the chick is supposed to be like she's a, oh yeah, right here. Now a black personal trainer, content creator in Chicago. So she's this trainer. So she's in health. She got her thing, and I wonder what her husband looks like or whatever, right? Then, but not even that. Even if she had a so-called Jake husband, what is she saying? I'm a content creator. I'm a trainer. So she's living good. So she's not talking to the average. She don't speak for the average citizen who knows what they're gonna come and do to your sons, and in a lot of cases, your daughters, right?
Has become the largest federal law enforcement agency for one reason only. Its charge is to make America white again. And I think that's really important for us to insist upon. This is not about violent criminals. This is not about safety. This is about trying to address demographic shifts. Trying to address demographic shifts that disrupt a particular understanding or particular view of the American polity. And I think it's important for us to begin to report it in this way. It's not about Stephen Miller and his quota. It's not about Holman cosplaying Bull Connor. It's really about what is driving this immigration policy. And I think it's deeply, and I think I know, it's profoundly racist. And it's rooted in an ideology that's tied to, bound up with white nationalism. ICE has become the largest federal law.
And then, going back here to Jeremiah 11 and 10, right, to finish it up, right, so they are turned back to the iniquities of their forefathers. And see, and that's what ended up getting a lot of our people. They're being influenced, right? Because as you can see, it's this lady's a internet influence person. She's a health person, right? So you look at her, people may look at her and go, oh, dang, I inspired to be like that. She was decent looking, right? So she's healthy, got a healthy body. She's what else? What else? It says she was and an influencer. So she's got a little fame, a little something, Especially our women. Our women don't look at a lot of time women don't look at the bigger picture and what's at play until it's going to be too late. Which that's what's going to happen, right? They are turned back to the iniquities of their forefathers, right? And going into trusting these nations, going back to worship these idols, right? Worship money, right? Oh, the so-called white man's not that bad. Yeah, a couple of bad apples, but they never do that to. When O.J. Simpson did that, we all did that. When we do this, we all did that. Anytime anything like that, they all look at us with a. But if a white person do something, oh, that was just that one individual, right? But somehow, hey, that Stockholm syndrome, hey, that's one hell of a drug. It ain't cocaine. Stockholm syndrome and plantation Christianity is one hell of a drug, right? Which refuse to hear my words, see? And that's what ultimately what's coming. Because we went out, we taught, hey, the famine of the word is about to come. And they went after other gods and served them. The house of Israel, right? The northern kingdom, which that's what Trump is using ICE to do, round them up. And y'all don't want to listen. Y'all want to saturate bullshit, white Jesus, right? You want to be so racist. Hey, they don't even want to hear the truth. Because if you bet not tell them that Yahweh Shai is actually who they call Jesus, is really a so-called black man. Man, forget about it. They don't want to believe in it just for that. If heaven is full with black people, they don't want to go. So that in itself, hey, a lot of them Northern King, hey, they finna get it, man. Right? And the house of Judah, right? And then you got a lot of Judites that has almost that same sentiment, right? If it's a nigga, I ain't gotta listen to him because he look just like me. So, they got that. They hate their own self type of syndrome, or even just being a rebellious syndrome. Just I ain't gotta listen to nobody. Well, until it's the so-called white man, right? With a gun in your face. Now you'll listen, but the Lord said. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get that because the Lord said, "Come, let us reason together." We shouldn't have to put a gun in your face, beat you to freak up all out here, in order for you to see, right? We should be able to reason with you and look at circumstances, right? And the house of Judah have broken my covenant, which, right, I have made with their fathers, right? Yeah. So this is Isaiah chapter 1, verse 18. It says, "Come now and let us reason together." See, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to come and reason together. Saith Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakodash. Though your sins be as scarlet being red, crimson goes into the word crime. You have a lot of crime, right? Just like the so-called white man, he's red because he's the first crime family with the Bulgarians, which are Edomites, right? He's synonymous with crime, and then you're following behind this guy. Well, I'm right behind the red mega hats, right? They're wearing all the red, the crimson, the crime, right? Symbolizing the crime, right? The conquering of lands and gold and possessions and things, and on stolen land, passing decrees, right? Executive order this, executive order that, on stolen land, as if the Most High and come, bro. Hey, forget about it, man. But the Lord is trying to tell you, hey, judgment is coming to this place. So let's reason why there's time. And the Lord's like, look, I even know that you got a lot of sins, right? This is what he's saying. Though your sins be as crimson, like you got a lot of crime, you got a lot of sins upon you. They shall be as white as snow. The Lord's like, I'm going to clean your slate. Just trust and understand and believe in what the men that set up to tell you what is and what ain't. And believe that. I'm going to wipe your slate clean. Esau can't even do that. Right? People got all these, what is it, these student loan debts and stuff. He don't even want to forgive your student loan debt. I mean, right? They're talking about how bad the economy's doing. They could pretty much just forgive all the debts, right? Wipe the slate clean. Just tell everyone, hey, look, if you have a home, your home is yours. You own it. We'll no longer do. Yeah, we'll just say we'll buy out your homes. We'll wipe the slate clean. Everyone who has a home, you own that home. Wipe everybody's debt clean. Start all over. Right? They could do that, but they won't. See, the Most High saying he can do that with you. So that's the part of the reasoning, right? And it says, though they be as red, right, as crimson, right? Crimson, like I said, goes back to crime. They shall be as wool, right? Clean, white, clean, made clean, slate clean, right? Right? It says, if ye be willing to obey, right, ye shall eat good of the land. So if you be willing to obey, hey, when everything goes into famine, the death, the pestilence, the Lord said that his men shall eat, right? The Lord said his men is going to eat, right? You're gonna be, but if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword. And that's what Trump is ultimately finna set up when you're talking about sending these troops into Chicago, is to destroy you with the sword. Right? It ain't coming to be your friend. He's not coming there to truly help so-called black people. Because if that's the case, why Trump didn't put what's the thing called, reparations on the thing? Because the main reason why poor people steal is because they're poor. You know what I'm saying? Have you thought of that? And if you owe these people billions and trillions and millions of dollars, but you refuse to give them any money, but you keep them in the ghettos, the barrios, the reservations, and they're stealing and killing and doing things. Are you surprised? Bro, but that's this devil. But you want to refuse the help that the Lord has for you. And the Lord said, what? You will be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, have spoken it. So that's a done deal. That's an executive order your ass cannot cash. Right? So yeah. Let's go into reason. So this is Isaiah 1:18. Let's look at the reason.
Strong's H 3198. Yachach. Yachach.
You had to prove, decide, judge, rebuke, reprove, correct, be right, right? Just trying to get you to be right with the Lord, right? Convince or convict. I think that's the best example, right? Because even though the Lord is saying, look, you got all these sins, so this kind of like a way of chastising you or something like that. But then, but that's really between you and the Most High. My thing is to convince you, hey, dang, don't you think the Lord is going to be pleased with this? And the fear of the Lord shall move upon you. I mean, if it's meant for you to have that fear, right? Because some people don't have that fear. Yeah. So then, with reasoning, convict you, and once you're convicted, this will happen to you. It says Ezekiel 36:25, then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, right, which dealing with the word, and ye shall be cleansed from your filthiness. See, the Lord says he's going to wash all your things clean, even though your sins be as scarlet and crimes, crimson, you got a lot of crimes, you got a lot of criminal activity against the Most High, and not to mention maybe even within this system, you've committed crimes. But the main thing is getting things right with the Most High, right? Right? And the Lord said, I will cleanse, ye will be cleansed from your filthiness and from all your idols, right? All the idolatry, worshiping Cesare Borgia, Allah, Buddha, Shiva, hey, yourself, your money, your woman, your children. A lot of people worship their children, bro. It's crazy. They so-called vicariously live through their children. They basically worship their children, right? And I will cleanse you. A new heart also, right, which is heart goes into the Hebrew word la'ab, which means your mind. Also will I give you, right? See, and that's part of what? Convincing you. Now your mind is convinced or changed or converted to a different mindset. Give you a new mind, right? And a new spirit. And same thing as spirit basically still means the same thing as your mind. Your spirit is basically your mind. Will I put within you, and I will take away the stony heart, right? Your stubbornness, right? Because the Lord said that his children are stiff-hearted and rebellious children, and he will take away that stubbornness from you, the stiff-heartedness, that hard-headedness, right? Out of your flesh, right? And that's part of that. Yeah, living in the flesh. Everybody has this defense mechanism. Everything's like a fight, but everything's not a. The only fight you have is really against the spiritual demon Satan and his cronies that's on earth, right? Which is the self-proclaimed so-called white man, which you say you agree with him coming to your city with guns and white supremacy on their mind, whether you know it or not, right? Because the elite already said you're going to eat lentils and bugs and you're going to own nothing and be happy, right? So, and yeah. And I will give you I will give you in heart of flesh, right? Right. Something that's receptible to the spirit. You can receive the spirit that way. When you humble yourself, be in meekness and humble yourself. And I will put my spirit within you, right? Yeah, that's Yahweh Shai. Yeah, the spirit. When it tells you, it's going to cry, Abba, Father, right? And cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye will keep my judgments and do them, right? You're not going to be just a hearer of the word. You're going to be a doer of the word, right? Yeah. So that those things with those conspiracy, right? When you have Jake and Eve, right, conspiring against you, right? You also who most likely who they're conspiring with, the enemy, right? And that's what it is. They're in league with our enemy, right? So Psalm 83:1 says, a song or psalm of Ephes, keep not thou silent, O power, hold not thy peace, and be not silent, O power, which is Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash. For lo, which means to look, thy enemies, man. Said, look at these, man. Thy enemies make a tumult, right? Tumult is dealing with a war, right? They're talking about not making it a Department of Defense anymore, but the Department of War. So they're about to make war on every inner city, which really in all the United States. You know, that's just are deployed to get to all the, the cities, even in you little small itty bitty towns. They're coming for all the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, right? Because they know who we are, right? And it says, the tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head, right? And they're coming up against, really, it's to come against Yahweh, because prophecy is being fulfilled. So what are they trying to do? They're trying to prevent prophecy. They have consulted, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, right, which is so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, and consulted against thy hidden ones, right? That's you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Yasha-Allah, right? Not Israel, because you can hear Israel in the news. It's really Yasha-Allah, be no more in remembrance, right? For they have consulted together with one consent. They have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, right? Which going into the prophecies. They're trying to prevent prophecy from happening, and basically they're trying to have a divide and conquer situation all over again. Because when the so-called Mexicans was asking for where's the so-called blacks, it made another a rift within those two communities that need to come together, right? But all in all, people, the prophecy can't be disannulled. But that's what they're setting up. That's what they're trying to do. And if you look, one thing looks another way, then the other one looks another different thing. It looks like they're not in what do you call it? They're not in conjunction with each other, but then it's the exact same agenda, right? One's supposed to be crime, the other one's supposed to be immigration, but it's basically how they always work, the left-right paradigm, right? And so this lady, she's probably really thinking, hey, no, it's a good idea. That sounds good. But because of her, we all die, man. Because of the woman, we all died, man. Right? You can't listen to a so-called black woman, especially a so-called black woman, man. I mean, let alone a woman, period. Because women don't think about the overall thing, women look for comfort, right? The tabernacles of Edom, right? And that's what we're in battle with, which Esau, Edom, right? Known as the so-called Greeks or the Americans, the French, the English, the Spanish, the Portuguese, right? The Edomites, man. All over the world, they're going to come against you Israelites. But here in America, we seeing what he's doing, right? And it's to try to overthrow prophecy, right? Because guess who's in America? Ishmael is in America. Moab, which is the so-called Chinese, is in America, right? The Hagarenes, I had looked that up. I believe that's another Arab, right? So the Arabs are here, Moab, the Chinese, all here, but they ain't going after them, right? Because their so-called visas have to expire at some point in time. You ain't seeing them all on the news, rounding them up, beating them up with masks on their faces, right?
White people hiding.
White nations! White nations! Now we start the deportation! Now we start the deportation! White nations! White nations! Closed borders! Closed borders! Now we start the deportation! Now we start the deportation! There are, gentlemen.
I have stated in previous videos that a lot of races were going to start coming out, and there was going to be no more shame in showing your hate towards other communities. This has nothing to do with deportations, and it has everything to do with the white nation. A lot of people have been speaking about ethnic cleansing, and it's not an ethnic, it's ethnics being cleansed. Latinos were at the beginning, and now you have Haitians. I think these white people know the difference between a Haitian and a Black American. All they know is white nation. In the past month, we've had 4 Black men and 1 Latino lynched. Local PD is saying that they're suicide. However, people have showed pictures and videos that they were in fact a homicide. Why is local PD covering this? Why is it up to us to show other people what is truly happening in the United States? Because mainstream media is not going to show you unless it fits their narrative. You have men dressing up as ICE agents to kidnap and sexually assault women. The majority of those men are white. Imagine how many of these women have actually been kidnapped and nobody knows about because they thought they were being taken by ICE. We have so much crazy stuff happening right now in the United States, and we need to come together. I've stated this over and over and over, and I don't know how much I have to keep saying that. Divided, we stay conquered. It's not about political views. This isn't about being a Democrat. This is not about being a Republican. This is not about what community you come from, whether you're Latino, Black, Asian, Middle Eastern. They want us divided because divided, we stay conquered. But when we unite, we stay standing. This isn't the time to be pointing fingers at different communities, different political views. This is the time to realize that we've gone backwards in time. The man that ran over that protester back in Riverside, California, was a skinhead with every intention to actually hurt people. Thus, why he changed his license plate before even going to the protest. And then you see the comments in those videos where we show the person that ran over the protester, and you don't have white people hiding anymore. They're white power, white nation BS. And now in this video that I just showed you, you see it in the streets. I don't know what else to say. But you know what? Let me know what you guys think.
Because basically this whole thing setting up, the National Guard and DC and Chicago and New York and LA and all these places where they want to go, it's all really to try to offset prophecy. But really, you're stepping right into prophecy by doing these things, which that's what they don't understand, which is going to invoke prophecy to come right in on time. And it says, the envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off, right? So then all those that come against the so-called African American, so-called Jamaican, West Indies, Haitian, which is basically the 3 tribes that sums up Judah, are going to be cut off. They're going to die, right? And then those who actually truly realize that they are our brothers, right? Which really is ultimately going to be about the faith, the elect of the so-called Puerto Ricans, Native Americans, Mexicans, Colombians, Cubans. Those who realize, hey, those are our brothers. They're gonna come back to us. They're gonna have no envy or anything, animosity towards us, right? Because they're gonna see all our adversaries falling, like, oh and the Lord lifting up that standard, right? They're gonna say, oh hey, it's that time to get busy, baby, right? And Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. See, and that's ultimately what's been going on with this whole thing. When they ask, "Where's the blood?" So then Judah started vexing them. Oh, you thought you was white. You thought, which that's true. In a lot of instances, a lot of so-called Northern Kingdom, you pretend like you were white. And the white people showed you you're not part of them. They know who you are. You're the Israelites. So There's going to be a lot of people who are going to realize who's friend and who's foe. And they're going to realize the Northern Kingdom, which is going from Ephraim, so-called Puerto Rican, all the way to the so-called Mexican, is going to realize our real adversary is the Edomite, is the self-proclaimed so-called white man, and our ally, our friend in this world is our brother, which is Judah, so-called black, Haitian, Jamaican, right? West Indies, right? We're your brother, man. We're gonna love you, and we're gonna protect you, and we're gonna take care of you like nobody else is going to, right? But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines, which are Hamites. We're gonna destroy all these nations soon enough, right? But that fight here in America is going to be the spark of all these different things. And ultimately, the ultimate spark is meant to be within your mind. Your la'ab, coming back to the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, man. Coming back to your power. But pretty soon, nobody's going to have a choice but to come to realization that you're going to have to depend on each other, right? It says, and the Philistine towards the west, and they shall spoil them of the east. Together, see, we're going to come together, right? And they shall lay hand upon Edom, right? Which is a self-proclaimed so-called white man. We're going to lay hands upon them, man. And Moab, which is the Chinese, and the children of Ammon, which are the Japanese, shall obey them, right? We're going to put them in slavery, man. We're going to put all these nations, these other nations, into slavery, man. They're going to know that they should have never, ever thought that they were going to get away with putting their hands on the apple of the Most High's eye, which are you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. Yeah, so this is Zechariah chapter 9, verse 12, right? Turn you to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope, right? So once you get convinced or convert, right, and turn to the stronghold, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, hey, man, and have hope, right, in this truth, right, which even those that don't have understanding in this truth, the Lord is gonna, hey, he's gonna lift up a standard, and you won't have no choice but to trust in your brother, right? So a lot of you're gonna die, but you're gonna come back as Israelites, man. I mean, it's better that you got this truth, but hey, the Lord ain't set it up for everybody. The Lord's only delivering the elect. So Lord willing, you're part of the elect. But if you're not, hey, guess what? You're still finna come back through the loins of the men and the women who are the elect. So there's still hope, right? Right? You're the people who was the thing. It's a proverb that says, there's hope in death, right? You're the only people who's actually going to have hope even in death, right? You so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, and this is what they want to prevent. They want you to think that you're nobody, and have you put some foreign object within your body, right? Try to get you not to inherit the kingdom of heaven. But see, that ain't gonna happen. Because a lot of people are going to turn ye to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope. And America is a prison, man. And we hoping for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai to come soon. Which, with every step that they make, is speeding up the time. Even to today, right? See? This very day, bro. It says, I do declare that I will render double unto thee. Right? Say, hey, so everything... If this devil, he don't got to give us reparations. We're going to get double for all of our trouble. It says, when I have bent Judah for me, which that's like I said, that's the so-called Negro, American Negro, so-called Jamaican West Indies, right, which is Benjamin, and Haitian, which is Levi, and then the what they call Americans is Judah, right? That's that southern kingdom. For me, and fill the bowl with Ephraim, that's the so-called Puerto Ricans, Native Americans, Mexicans, Cubans, Colombians, Guatemalans, right? All through Brazil, all you Israelites all over Brazil, right? Hey, man, rise up, thy sons, O Zion, Zion, meaning to Zion, means memorial, right? And the Lord said, you shall be in the last, you shall bethink yourself. And that memorial is what? For remembrance. And you're going to bethink yourself, man. Right? And then the Most High is going to remember you. Against thy sons, O Greece. Right? And we know that Alexander was the first to rule over Greece. Right? So that even though they wasn't the Greeks, we know that became a synonymous term for the self-proclaimed so-called white man, because they were also not known as white. They were Edomites. Right? That goes for Edom. And made thee as the sword of a mighty man. Because right now the Lord said that Esau's the sword. But the Lord is going to change it up and make you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, those who have converted, been convicted, changed their mind, right? You're going to make you're going to be the sword. You're going to be the judges of the earth, right? And that's what they want to prevent. But they can't. So with all that, I want to give all glory and all praise unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners, who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom, to your sisters, you Akhwathian, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with meekness and with silence, and the Baba Ball and Kwam Yasharallah.